me on the yes. So we discussed about the agile principles. Like we discussed about like how the incremental process is going to happen and how the continuous development is coming to the is going to happen and the client interaction and how we are going to deliver the product in the form of a small chunks and then how the project status is going to be visible to and to the entire team and how we are going to allow the change request. So when we say like we are going to allow the change request, so we have clearly defined in our releases saying like the release 2 will be having the default module or the default requirements that what we have planned. And in addition to that, we are also implementing or we are also releasing the change request that what we have really received from the client on submodule 1. So this is how we are accepting the change request at every single phase, like or we can also say like at every single release, and we are delivering the change request along with the modules, the default modules or the default requirements that are planned for that particular release. Now, if you see here, let us see what will happen in the waterfall model. So in the waterfall model, if you see, these are the requirements we have collected for the four submodules here. And in any of the phase here, we are not accepting the any change request from the client because the client will not be able to see how the how his web application or how the UI design because we have not yet released any of the requirements till now to the client, and the client will also doesn't know about like how the LMS module is implemented. He just only know the how his expectations of LMS module to behave, but he doesn't know like how it is actually implemented. So he can't able to give us any of the change requests. And the one more feature in the principle in the waterfall model is until and unless the entire project is delivered, we are not going to accept any of the change requirements for the project. So once you have delivered the project, I'm saying like delivered the project in the sense like it includes all the submodules, which we are saying like it will be a final release. And be in that time till that final release, we are not going to accept any of the change requirements. So now I have said like on the let's put like in the month of January, we have project release. Here we will going to maintain the versioning here. Project release V1, or we can say like release V1. So which states like the final version is released in the version V1. And so now the client will review the, or we can also say like we'll use the application or we'll use the project, or we can say product what we have developed, and then here we will get the change requests or any improvements or we can also say it like feedback for the respective modules will be given by the client here. So now again, what we will do here, so whatever the CRs that are really CRs, we can say CRs for release 1, release version 1. We have taken that all the CRs, and again the BA should work on the BA will work on the CRs and prepare the required documents here. And yeah, so we here we will be having this BA will be working on the requirements and for the CRs, and he will prepare the required documents here, and then those documents will be assigned to the L. So here the dev will work on the CRs for version 1, and these will be released again into the some date, like let's put it as in 1st February. So we will be having the release version V2, which is like all the CRs for version 1. So again, like the same process will continue here. Let's say again, whatever the features that we have developed or released in the version 2, the client may get some new requirements, or he can say like he want to implement, add some new functionality to the modules that what we have developed. So again, we will be considering those as the requirements, or we can say it as like change requests, and we will be working on the preparing the necessary documents, and will plan for the release, and we will make it as a version v3, and which includes like the CRs for the version 2. That is how the waterfall model release versioning is going to happen. So if you see, this is the main disadvantage of using the waterfall model, because the client doesn't know exactly what is the happening. I mean, what we are working or what we are developing in the project. He doesn't know what is happening until and unless all the project is going to be delivered. So if you see here in the Agile, as we have the client involved at the earlier phase of the development, which is from the submodule 1 itself, so we can able to see the progress of the project. So now, till now, it's clear, right? So we have discussed about the waterfall, and we have the agile. I believe till now it is clear for all of you related to the differences between the waterfall and the agile model here. And now what we need to do, so we have the project roadmap. We define the project roadmap saying like these we have the project has been splitted into 4 submodules, and this is how the planning we are what we have planned for this project. Say we have the requirements phase should start in so and so dates, and development should go on so and so dates, and the QA should complete. So we have defined this what we can say it as like a roadmap. So now the question is like how we are going to implement this process. So that is where we are going to call it as. So this is about the, we can also say like process that supports the agile framework, or so process that supports the agile framework is, we have the first one, I'll say, which is Scrum, and the second one is XP, which is we can also say it as like a extreme programming. Or then we have one more, uh, what we can say, like T-shaped delivery, T-shaped model. So for the timing, let's see like these are the process that supports the Agile framework. So among these three, the usage of this Scrum module, we can say like most of the project companies using the Agile framework should follow this Scrum process. So this is the one which plays an key role, or we can say it as like the important process that supports the Agile framework. I'll mention it as a Scrum process. Okay, so now we have the process that supports the Agile framework. So we say like the Scrum process is the one. So now if we come back to our TOC, so like we can see what we have covered till now. So we have say like I'm mentioning it as we have come stated as a completed. Okay, so we have completed this one, and then for the software models, we have completed this software SDLC process as well. And in the different waterfall models, we discussed about in the different methodologies, we discussed about the waterfall model. Yeah, this is where we have the waterfall model completed, and now we have completed the Agile methodology. And we started about what is Agile. This is completed. And we need to start working in the we need to start on this Scrum process, which supports the Agile framework, and we will see what is Scrum process and how we need to conduct the Scrum process if you are going to be acting as a Scrum Master. And we will be also looking at like what are the roles involved in the Scrum. And we have the different terminologies in the Scrum process, which is product backlog, sprint planning, sprint release. So all this terminology we are going to cover in this chapter, which will start from tomorrow on this Scrum process here. And these are the things that what we have learned so far. Now, if you say like let's move on to the Scrum. Okay, we'll see like what about the topics that we have completed. Once we done the Scrum process here, once we learn about the Scrum, then you will see like what are the other few topics that we are already completed in the Scrum and PO, because that's the reason we have mentioned this course as the combination of three different roles, which will be the BA, Scrum, and PO. So once we complete this Agile, you will be coming to know like what are the other topics completed in the respective modules here. So I'll just stop the recording.